Susan's story will sound familiar if you've ever been hesitant about trying something new. Susan is 57 and had always been skeptical about new diets and fitness trends. As a retired teacher and active grandma, she didn't have time for extreme programs that didn't fit into her life. But when she found the Pursue Your Spark blueprint, it felt different. The course made intermittent fasting and Pilates feel manageable and not overwhelming. After just a few weeks, Susan was surprised by how much energy she had, and she noticed that she was snacking less without even trying. If you've been unsure about where to start like Susan, look at the blueprint to see how it can work for you. The link will be in the show notes. Hey, it's Heike. Has that nightly glass of wine started to feel more like a habit than a way to relax? It's a great time to pause and reflect in October because October is also known as Sober October. But let's be honest, going alcohol-free for a month might not be for everyone. In today's episode, we'll rethink your relationship with alcohol in a way that feels realistic. No pressure, no guilt. It's not about giving it up, but finding a balance that works for you. And stick around because I'll share a simple tip to enjoy that glass while staying on track with your health goals. How did I get here? You're in the right. This is the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and I am Heike Yates. If you're feeling stuck in midlife wondering, how did I get here? You're in the right place. We're all about real transformation, not quick fixes. My mission is to help you break free from limiting beliefs and outdated habits using fitness and wellness as tools for change. Each episode offers practical strategies for turning complex challenges into simple, actionable steps. So bring your yes, I can attitude and earbuds, and let's explore how you can truly thrive in midlife. We're in the month of October, and Sober October might be not something you think about right away. You might think about fall events, apple picking, Halloween fun. But it also might be a time to reflect about our drinking habits, especially after the summer month when a glass of wine or a cold beer might have just been a regular occurrence because it's summer. You have or may have heard of Sober October, Dry July, or Dry January. And they became or have become popular ways to reset and align your drinking habits with your health goals. You know, there are plenty of non-alcoholic beverages that I've talked about in another episode, which we'll mention later. They're marketed to us to help us during the month of October, in this case, July or January, to drink less alcohol. But you know what? To me, it's more like holding one glass, whether it's wine, beer, or whatever it is you're drinking, and another glass of these non-alcoholic beverages. It's the habit of something in your hand. If you can picture this, you're going to a summer party. What do you usually do with your hands? They're on your hips, they hang by your side, but most of the time we have a small plate of food in our hands, or more often than not, the drink. But here's the thing. While these 1-month challenges can be a great starting point for some, but they're not necessarily the right solution for everyone, especially if it leaves you feeling deprived and leads to more drinking afterwards. So as I said, with a drink in hand, it's the habit of holding that glass at certain times and during certain moments that remind us that, oh, a drink would be good. It doesn't matter if it's non-alcoholic, but that's just my thinking around this. But let's be real. We often enjoy a drink to unwind after a hard day, to bond with others, or to celebrate. Bottle of champagne for a promotion is very common. It's a way to feel connected and relaxed. But even without noticing, what starts as an occasional treat or de-stressor can easily become a habit, especially when we're stressed or feeling down, which doesn't make the situation any better. Suddenly, the drink becomes a go-to coping mechanism. Now, cutting out alcohol entirely for a month might seem like the perfect fix. And I have done Sober October. October seems always a good time after a relaxed summer. Fall is coming around where we, again, starting to celebrate more parties and events. But what happens when the month is over? If you've been white knuckling it through Sober October, you might find yourself reaching for that drink with a vengeance come November. It's Thanksgiving and you're like, eggnog all the way. This is an all or nothing approach, which can make you feel like a failure or a slip up because you can't stick to what you did all month. That's why challenges are not my favorite. But may as it be, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding a balance that works for you. So let's dive into our episode, Transform Your Relationship with Alcohol Now. So let's talk about what is Sober October and how it all got started. Sober October is credited to Macmillan Cancer Support, a UK-based cancer charity. Sober October started as a fundraising campaign in Australia and the UK known as October to raise awareness about the health risks of excessive drinking and support different charitable organizations. The campaign mainly focuses on raising awareness about the health risks associated with excessive drinking, including liver disease, cancer, and long-term health issues because of too much alcohol. It's a way for people to reset their relationship with alcohol, evaluate its role in their lives, and perhaps adopt a healthier habit moving forward. That doesn't mean you can never have a drink again. So this is not what this episode is about. For many women, or most women, it's not about having a serious drinking problem. It's about recognizing when alcohol might be playing a bigger role in our life than we like. The key is to figure out what's driving your drinking habits. Are you reaching for a drink out of habit? Like you come home from work, that's the thing you do. You grab a glass of wine, pull out some olives, crackers, and cheese. Or you're super stressed, you walk in the door and you just don't want to hear about anything anymore until you had that glass of wine. I know it could be any alcohol, it could be a beer, it could be a whiskey. I don't like anything. I prefer a glass of wine. That's my thing. Or it's just because it became part of a routine, like you're going to a party and that's what people do. We drink alcohol. Some people turn to alcohol because they're stressed or feeling down, which is, like I said, coping with stress. Being depressed and drinking is definitely not a good mix. It can make you temporarily feel better and help you unwind after a tough day, but it's not a good solution. Many of us enjoy a glass of wine or a cold beer after a long day. It's celebration, it's connecting. Whether we're at social gatherings or trying to de-stress after work, alcohol can seem like a quick fix for any of those situations. How many times have you said to your girlfriends, "Oh, come on, let's get together. Let's grab some wine. Let's go to the vineyard down the street." Very rarely do we use exercise and say, "Hey, let's go for a Pilates class," or "Hey, let's go for a long walk and let's use that to help us de-stress and deal with all the stuff that's in our minds and all the things that we're thinking about." It is more often than not the glass of wine meetup. And I've seen some promo pictures where it's common that women gather around a glass of wine. And that's such a stigma for us women. I never liked that. It's like, oh, picture us exercising together and not as a forefront. Ooh, yes, we drink wine together. Getting off my soapbox. But sometimes we might drink more than planned, especially when we're feeling stressed and down. The thing is, alcohol is helping us feel better because it boosts our dopamine level, the brain's feel-good chemical. But here's where it gets tricky. As we hit midlife and our estrogen levels drop, our dopamine levels can take a hit as well, leading to those mood swings and cravings we didn't see coming. When we suddenly cut out alcohol, our brain might start searching for something else to fill the void, which can lead to new cravings or other habits. Replacing old habits with positive exercises or activities like exercise or picking a new hobby can help stabilize those dopamine levels of euphoria. I feel good. And oh my God, this brings me joy, and helps you maintain your dopamine levels without adding a lot of calories from the wine or the drink and those up and down mood swings. I also want you to check out episode number 130, Changing Your Alcohol Habits, with my friend Molly Watts. It's a impactful exercise, and she also has her own podcast. But listen to episode 130 to hear what we talked about when it comes to changing your alcohol habit. Now, drinking alcohol doesn't come without risks. Even moderate alcohol intake has been linked to higher risk of breast cancer in women. The risk increases with the amount of alcohol consumed, making it important to be mindful how much and how often you drink. And then there is liver damage. Women are more susceptible than men to alcohol-related liver diseases, including cirrhosis. Regular consumption of alcohol, even in moderate amounts, can lead to liver damage over time. While moderate drinking may have some cardiovascular benefits, you always hear, drink a glass of red wine a day. Drinking beyond those limits can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. So look at your drinking habits if you have high blood pressure. Honestly, look at it. And then excessive alcohol consumption can interfere with the absorption of calcium, leading to higher risk of osteoporosis and fractures, especially in postmenopausal women. You may not know that the drinking affects your calcium absorption. And alcohol can worsen or trigger mental issues. I tapped a little bit on that one, like depression and anxiety. If you're depressed, drinking more alcohol makes you even more depressed, and you think yourself in a hole, and you drink yourself in a hole that you might not come out of in a good way. And it can lead to dependency and furthermore mental health challenges. And then, of course, alcohol is high in empty calories. They are not contributing to your health, to your energy, to your well-being. They contribute to weight gain if consumed regularly, and in turn increases the risk of different health conditions such as diabetes, and I mentioned cardiovascular disease already. For women, the healthiest approach to alcohol is moderation, or even not drinking. Let's say you don't drink for Monday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday is where you feel like you want a drink. It feels good to you, but you're not feeling deprived. Think about particularly those health risks with breast cancer and liver disease are not to be underestimated. As much fun as drinking can be and alcohol, you need to keep those things in the back of your mind. If you're someone who's constantly juggling responsibilities, you'll relate to Linda's story. At 54, Linda was running a business and caring for her family. Her health had taken a backseat, and she felt drained and overwhelmed. Finding the Pursue Your Spark blueprint gave her the structure she needed to fit self-care back into her life. The small, achievable steps like incorporating movement into her day and practicing mindful eating helped her feel more energized and in control, even with her busy schedule. If you're like Linda and need a way to fit health into your packed day, check out the blueprint. right here, and I'll leave a link in the show notes for you. You know, this episode didn't just pop into my head or I read about it. Actually, I had a conversation with a friend about this where I said, oh, it's Sober October. I'm just going to quit alcohol for the whole month and continue regular, moderate wine drinking afterwards. And she said, Heike, this is not a good idea for me. I have a history of problems with eating and other disorders. And so for me, it would end up being worse afterwards, binge drinking, if I were to go forcing myself not to drink. So I would be fixated on this. I would not last very long because I would be so obsessed about not drinking. And she says, think about that. And that is actually what created this episode when I did research of how different people perceive their alcohol journey. Because quitting alcohol suddenly, especially if it's been a part of your regular part of your life, can be really tricky. Your mind and body are used to that nightly glass of wine or a little cocktail. Cutting it out entirely might leave you feeling, number one, deprived, and can lead to cravings, or even the temptation to replace alcohol with something else, which could be a sugary snack or overeating because you want to reward your reward system with something that good you did that day, or well you did that day, that you said, oh, I did a really good job at work. I want something. And that something, if it's not alcohol, might turn into overeating or overindulging. The last thing we want is to swap one habit for another or feel guilty that we cannot stick to a strict no alcohol rule. So I want you to check out episode 198, How Quitting Alcohol for a Month Can Boost Your Health, where I talk about basically going cold turkey for a month. And in that episode, I looked at it with a different frame of mind than I'm talking about what I'm talking about today. So there are symptoms. There always are symptoms when we quit something. It's like you quit exercise. There will be symptoms. And when we go cold turkey with alcohol, the mind and body will experience a range of withdrawal symptoms. And that depends on how much and how long you've been drinking. But here's some of the more common signs for withdrawal. Headaches. Sudden withdrawal can cause intense headaches or migraines because your body is hardwired for the sugar and the alcohol or whatever alcohol you're drinking. You might find that you feel unusually tired or weak without the alcohol. That drink gave you a little boost. Insomnia or restlessness can occur, making it hard to sleep. So that's a two-edged sword. So if you've been drinking and have been sleeping badly, quitting drinking may make it worse. So you're looking at sleep deprivation and functioning the next day. Think about when you drink, how do you sleep? Maybe you keep a little log and say, okay, I'm doing fine. Most women I talk to are not fine and they don't sleep well. They usually wake up at night or are super restless or are sweating. This is what women that I talked to for this episode have told me. Now, the going cold turkey has similar side effects. And then you might feel anxious or on the edge as you have to adjust to not getting that drink. And it's really just the habit of it oftentimes. You may feel pissed off easily because you didn't get your glass of wine, or you feel depressed. You're like, oh, man, I feel so sad. I can't have a drink. What am I going to do now? And it's really how we feel about the alcohol that we're drinking. It's most of the time not what's in the glass. It's how we relate to that. And like I said, mood swings. Now you're not getting your drink. You're grumpy, you're running around, you're irritable, and then you have cravings, and replace those cravings with another dopamine boost that makes you happy, makes you feel good, is a reward for a job well done, for whatever job that is. We women set such high standards for ourselves, don't we? It's the perfectionist streak that resides in so many of us that make that all or nothing mentality super tricky. Let's say you decided to go alcohol free for a month. It may be sober October, and you're determined to stick to it perfectly. And you know you will not drink at all. But then life happens. Maybe you're out with friends and have a drink, and you suddenly go, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. You start thinking, I've blown it. So what's the point that I'm even trying this? The perfectionist streak. It's easy to fall into the trap that makes us feel like we're a loser because we didn't hit that perfectionist mark. So the all or nothing approach, or the 1 month off alcohol, is maybe not for you. But here's the thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. One slip doesn't erase all the good that you've done. It's about getting back on track and not letting the moment derail your entire journey. Also, again, part of this episode. There are 3 ways how we can transform our relationship with alcohol now and today. Consider a more balanced approach instead of the all in for a month and then struggling to maintain it. It's about making mindful choices that support your overall well-being, not just for a month, but for the long term. And it's with alcohol, it's the same thing. It's about baby steps. So here's how we can think about it. Shift your focus from restriction to intention. It's not about denying yourself, but choosing what makes you feel best. Maybe that means you're cutting back rather than cutting alcohol out, or finding other ways to relax and unwind that don't involve alcohol. Regular physical activity can be a great way to manage stress and improve your mood, making it easier to drink less. Whether it's a walk, a Pilates class, or a dance class, find something you love. Make it part of your routine. So imagine you're coming home from work. You're so freaking stressed. Change your clothes, get into your workout gear, and do your workout. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know I used to be a runner until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I had really bad knee problems on one of my knee with osteoarthritis and a torn meniscus. And they had told me back then that I should consider instantly a knee replacement, which I didn't do. So I still am good with my knee, but I can't run anymore. So running was my, I can save the world thing. I would go out and feel great. So now I walk. I started walking really fast to get that same dopamine hit from really fast walking and sorting through what ails me. I did say it. What ails me so I can come back feeling better. And when I come back, I don't feel like, now I want a glass of wine. No, I want a big glass of water. I want to take a hot shower and then prepare dinner or lunch whenever I go out for my walk. Also, pay attention to your eating and how it makes you feel. Sometimes we reach for a drink when we're tired or hungry or thirsty. A balanced diet rich in whole foods can help stabilize your mood and energy levels, reducing the urge to reach for alcohol as a quick fix. Let's talk about mindful drinking. No. Don't roll your eyes. We're practicing here at Pursue Your Spark mindful eating, mindful exercise, mindful breathing as well. So we are talking now about mindful drinking. What does it do and how does it work? And as women in midlife, we have so many challenges that we need navigate that we don't need extra stuff on our plate. So let's be mindful about our alcohol intake as well. One of the main reasons people turn to alcohol is stress. Exercise is an excellent stress reliever, as my story just showcased. It releases endorphins, the dopamine, the happy hormones, which help improve mood and reduce the risk, not the risk, but the desire to drink, as my story highlighted. And also, time spent exercising is time spent not drinking. It's a simple equation, but an effective one. You're less likely to drink if you're busy working out. Many people use alcohol to help them fall asleep, which again is tricky. This often leads to poor quality sleep. I talked about this already. And exercise can help improve sleep quality, reducing the need to rely on alcohol. But be aware, you don't want to go for a hard cardio or strength training session just an hour before you go to bed. Have a couple of hours that will allow you to wind down so you can sleep. But it's exercise. I'm telling you, exercise is good for you. Regular exercise also improves self-esteem and body image, which can be particularly important to us women, especially in midlife when we pick on our bodies. We're talking about the wobbleness and the loose skin and all these things to putting ourselves down. So if you exercise, you get stronger, you build muscles, you feel proud of what you've just done. This boosts in self-esteem, can reduce the emotional triggers that often lead to excessive drinking. It's like, oh, I don't look so good. My skin is sagging. My muscles are kind of wobbly and I don't look as strong as I am. Go exercising. Also, exercise can be a healthy alternative to alcohol when dealing with emotional and psychological challenges. Instead of reaching for a drink, go running, go walking, do a Pilates session is a way healthier way to cope with the desire to drink. Now, you can join a community or have a group class or a fitness community that can provide a sense of belonging and accountability. They're like, yeah, you're coming again today. We love having you here. This is great. And less likely to drink, or suggest, like I said earlier, let's meet for a workout instead of for a drink. Now, I want to add to that it still is okay if you have your drink. You work out, you shower, you make a dinner, and you have a glass of wine with dinner. I did not say cold turkey. I said moderation, mindfulness, but put your health first before reaching for that glass. You know, we often see alcohol as a go-to for winding down or treating ourselves, but there are so many other ways to indulge in self-care that don't involve pouring a glass of wine. And we want to reward ourselves for a job well done, for a work day gone well, for a long run that's went great, for a paper written that's beautiful, for being patient with our kids. Whatever it is, alcohol has often become this reward system. So let's change the conversation. And October, or any other month, it doesn't matter, is an excellent opportunity to explore what brings you joy and discover new ways to brighten your day. Whether it's taking time for a new hobby, you've wanted to start for a long time, focus on self-care, or finally, getting that item that you had your eye on. Rewarding yourself for your efforts can be both satisfying and healthy. So I would probably go for, as a reward, a big, long bike ride somewhere where I haven't biked before. Planning it out with my husband as the planner, so I can see that as my reward. But you have other rewards that you may want. Maybe it's that cute little dress, or that pair of pumps that you've been eyeing, or that rucksack that you've been wanting for all the hikes that you're going on. I want to encourage you to make a choice that works for you. There's all these people telling us what to do, how to do it. And as I said, in one of my episodes, I also talked about, in the link, as you know, is in the show notes, about quitting for a month. And it works great for some. It doesn't work great for others. And truth be told, and I always tell the truth. We pulled through 1 month sober October and we were super proud of ourselves. We continued with our wine as we had before, maybe drank a little less. And then the following October, I said, yeah, let's do sober October. And just the pure thought about it just put me off. So I said, all right, Friday, Saturday is when we can drink our wine with our dinners or we're meeting our friends. And that will be enough because we're not deprived, because we know deprivation backfires. And it does with alcohol too. And I experienced this in a sense that I just didn't want to do it. I'm like, I don't feel like it. So think about, make the choice that works for you. At the end of the day, it's about finding what works for you. If a month without alcohol feels too restrictive, maybe trying to cut back gradually or setting specific goals that feel achievable, like we're doing Saturday, Sunday. That's it. Unless there is a special occasion where we meet up with friends. The goal is to build a healthy relationship with alcohol that fits into your life, and everybody's life is different, in a way that supports your overall health and happiness, not just for a month, but for a longer time. And I mentioned those non-alcoholic drinks. If this is a solution for you, that's your solution. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you, educate you, and show you there are all these things you can do, all these ways that help you be healthier and happier. Remember, you have the power to choose what's right for you without the pressure of being perfect. It's all about balance, making mindful choices, and finding the approach that makes you feel best. And if you want to reach out to me, send me an email to heike@heikeyates.com, comment the word sober in the subject line, and tell me how your approach to alcohol is. What do you do? What works for you? And I always want to know, and the people that have reached out to me have always said, Heike, you actually called me back or sent me an email back. Yeah, because I see you through my camera listening to my podcast, Pursue Your Spark. And with that, my friends, don't forget to check out the link on the Fasted and Fit Over 50 Jumpstart. I left the link in the show notes for you. And with that, my friends, I'm out of here until the next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.